There is a Ford F-350 in Texas with 1.3 million miles on the original engine. Not the original transmission, not the original body, the original engine. The man who owns it bought it new, used it for hauling, maintained it properly, and never once had to open the engine up. That engine is a 7.3-liter power-stroke diesel, and it is one of 5 American engines that experienced mechanics are quietly buying and stockpiling right now because they know these are the engines that will still be running in the year 2050, long after every vehicle built today has been scrapped. This video names all 5, shows you the documented mileage they achieve, and explains the specific engineering that makes them nearly impossible to kill. Pay attention to the design details in this video because the reason these engines last is not luck, and it is not nostalgia. It is a specific set of engineering choices that modern engines, by law, are no longer allowed to make. Every engine on this list shares the same core principle: low stress. These engines were designed to produce modest power relative to their size, to turn at low speed, and to carry heavy iron internal parts that were never pushed near their limit. An engine that makes 200 horsepower from a large displacement, turning slowly with thick iron construction, will outlast an engine that squeezes the same power from a tiny turbocharged unit spinning at high speed. That is the entire secret. The engines that last are the ones that were never asked to work hard. Modern emissions and fuel economy rules force manufacturers to do the opposite, to extract maximum power from minimum displacement, which is exactly the recipe for an engine that wears out. Keep that principle in mind as we go through the 5, because every one of them proves it. Number 1, the Ford 7.3-liter power-stroke diesel, built from 1994 and a half through early 2003. This is the engine in that million-mile Texas truck, and that truck is not a fluke. Diesel technicians consider the 7.3 power-stroke the gold standard of engine longevity. A well-maintained, unmodified example reaching 400,000 to 500,000 miles is not remarkable. It is expected. Examples exceeding 500,000 and even 700,000 miles are common in fleet service. The reason is the engineering. The engine uses 6 head bolts per cylinder, a commercial-grade specification that prevents the head gasket failures that plague lesser engines. It produces only around 250 horsepower from 444 cubic inches, an extremely low output per liter that keeps internal stress minimal. And critically, it was built before modern diesel emissions equipment. It has no exhaust gas recirculation system, no diesel particulate filter, none of the components that choke modern diesels and shorten their lives. The market understands what this engine represents. Clean 7.3 power-stroke trucks, more than 20 years old, routinely sell for $18,000 to $25,000, and low-mileage examples exceed $30,000, often more than the newer, more powerful diesels that replace them. Number 2, the Chrysler Slant 6, the 225 cubic inch inline 6 built from 1960 through the late 1980s. This is the engine most Americans have forgotten, and it is one of the most durable gasoline engines ever produced in the United States. The Slant 6 earned its reputation the hard way in taxi fleets, delivery vehicles, and work trucks that ran hundreds of thousands of miles on minimal maintenance. The engine is named for its unusual design. The cylinder bank tilted 30 degrees to one side, which allowed for better intake flow and a lower hood line. But its longevity comes from its construction. A massively strong cast iron block, a forged crankshaft running in a deep, rigid engine block, 7 main bearings on later versions, supporting the crankshaft at every possible point, conservative power output that never stressed the internals. Mechanics who worked on these engines in the 1970s and 80s tell the same story again and again. The Slant 6 would run with low oil, run with neglected maintenance, run in conditions that would destroy other engines, and simply refuse to die. It is the engine that proves the low-stress principle better than almost any other. It made modest power, it turned slowly, and it lasted for decades. Hold on, because the next engine on this list is the one that produces the most raw torque of any gasoline engine here, and it does it while lasting just as long. Number 3. The Chevrolet Big Block 454, the Mark IV engine built from 1970 through the early 1990s. The 454 is a 7.4-liter V8, an enormous engine by any standard, and that size is exactly why it lasts. The engine was used in heavy-duty trucks, work vans, motorhomes, and towing applications where it spent its life pulling heavy loads at low engine speed. Because the 454 displaces so much, it never has to work hard to move a vehicle. It produces its power through sheer size rather than through high engine speed or forced induction. The result is an engine that runs cool, turns slowly, and wears very little. The cast iron block and heads are massively strong. The internal components are oversized. Motorhome owners regularly report 454s exceeding 250,000 miles while pulling enormous weight, and the engine is a favorite for repurposing precisely because it is so difficult to wear out. It is the opposite of a modern engine in every way, and that is exactly why mechanics respect it. Number 4, the Dodge 5.9-liter Cummins. The 12-valve 6BT, built from 1989 through 1998. This is the engine that mechanics point to when they want to prove that a diesel can outlast the vehicle around it by a factor of 2 or 3. The 12-valve Cummins is an inline-6 diesel with mechanical fuel injection, no computer, and a reputation for reaching 600,000 miles, 800,000 miles, and in documented fleet cases, over 1 million miles on the original engine. It was designed as an industrial and agricultural engine built to run continuously under heavy load for years, and Dodge put it in a pickup truck. The inline-6 configuration is inherently balanced and durable. The mechanical injection pump has no electronics to fail. The engine turns at low speed and produces its power through torque rather than through high revolutions. A clean 12-valve Cummins truck today sells for $22,000 to $40,000 because the people buying them understand that the engine will very likely outlast them. This is the engine that will still be running in 2050 and probably in 2070. But this is not even the most significant engine on this list, because the final one is the engine that more Americans can actually find, afford, and keep running than any other engine ever built. Number 5, the Chevrolet Small Block 350. This is the most produced engine in automotive history, with over 100 million small block V8s built between 1955 and 2011. The 350 version powered trucks, vans, cars, boats, and industrial equipment for decades, and its longevity comes from a combination of conservative engineering and something no other engine on this list can match. Total parts availability: a 350 small block can be completely rebuilt twice over, with parts available at any auto parts store in any town in America at a lower cost than almost any other engine rebuild in existence. The engine itself is durable by design, with a strong cast iron block, a simple pushrod valvetrain, and conservative power output. But its true immortality comes from the fact that it will never lack parts and never lack mechanics who know how to fix it. An engine that can be rebuilt indefinitely, cheaply, by anyone is an engine that never truly dies. There are 350 small blocks running today that have been rebuilt 3 and 4 times, and there will be 350 small blocks running in 2050 for the same reason. The knowledge and the parts will always exist. Now here's what connects all 5 of these engines and why mechanics specifically are the ones buying them. Every one of these engines was designed before the 2 forces that kill modern engines took hold: emissions regulations that force high stress and complex, failure-prone equipment, and fuel economy rules that force tiny, high-output, turbocharged engines working at the edge of their limits. These 5 engines make modest power from large displacement, turn at low speed, carry heavy iron internals, and use simple, serviceable designs. That is the recipe for an engine that lasts 50 years, and it is a recipe that modern manufacturers are no longer permitted to follow. A new engine built today is engineered to survive the warranty period and the emissions requirement. These 5 were engineered, whether intentionally or not, to survive almost indefinitely. The mechanics buying these engines are not collectors, and they are not sentimental. They are people who understand engines at the deepest level, who have seen what modern engines cost to repair and how quickly they fail, and who have decided they want to own the engines that will still be running when the vehicles rolling off today's assembly lines are long gone. They are acquiring 7.3 Power Strokes, 12-valve Cummins diesels, big block 454s, slant 6s, and small block 350s. Because these are the engines that belong to the owner, that can be fixed by anyone, and that were built to a standard the law no longer allows. The engines that will still be running in 2050 are already built. The only question is who will own them. Before the next video, one question. Which of these 5 engines have you owned or worked on, and what is the highest mileage you have personally seen on one? The 7.3 Power Stroke, the Slant 6, the 454, the 12-valve Cummins, the 350 small block? Leave it in the comments below.